Hello and welcome everyone to the Friday, May 10th edition of the Contributor Comms team meeting. A reminder that we do operate under a code of conduct, which essentially says to be respectful of your fellow speakers and attendees and generally be excellent to each other. At the beginning of our meeting here, we do usually like to do a round of introductions. We don't call on each other because it's totally optional, but if you would like to introduce yourself, just pop in and say hello. You're also welcome to do so through chat or, like I said, totally optional, so you don't have to do it at all. I will kick things off. I'm Caslin Fields, and I am a developer advocate at Google Cloud, where I focus on GK and open source Kubernetes. And I'm also a co-chair of the special interest group for contributor experience, which is the parent group of this group, which is the comms subproject, where we focus on finding ways to communicate better with contributors, contributor to contributor communications, as well as to some degree communicating externally about the awesome work that contributors are doing. Would anyone else like to introduce themselves?
Certainly. I am Chris Short. I am a, what am I? Open source developer advocate at AWS now. Also a co-lead of this group. And
she, her pronouns.
There you go. And my pronouns are he, him. So I've been around the project a long time. If you have questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you, Chris. Anyone else?
I can go. Yep. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. So I'm Fred. I'm a cloud and architecture lead at SAS, and I'm a blogging lead here in the ContribEx comms team, amongst other things that I do around Kubernetes. He, him.
Wonderful.
Anyone else?
No one's obligated. Do not feel obligated if you don't want to.
Hi, I'm Mario. I'm sticking around, contribute SIG Infra, and I'm doing tech stuff in comms, and I'm the current lead for the Contributor Summit in Salt Lake City, which is happening in November. And I work for Kubernetes. Pronouns he, him.
Anyone else?
Did I misspell your name? I'm so sorry.
That's fine. 90% of the people misspell my name.
Well, I wish you could just copy paste the names out of Zoom, but anyways.
Ooh. Anyone else want to introduce themselves? Otherwise, we'll move into the agenda.
We could go next. Hello, everyone and people watching on YouTube. My name is Arvind. I'm a developer from India, and I'm the recent member of the ContribEx comms team. I'm currently working on a SIG Spotlight, and my pronouns are he/him. Thank you.
Very cool.
Welcome.
Hi everyone. I am Arjul,
Hi.
and hi, and I'm a contributor here, and my pronouns are he and him. Thank you.
Hey everyone. So I am Arpit Agrawal. So I'm currently contributing to ContribEx forms for a year now, and like it's a fun place. If you are watching recordings, do join us.
Love the call out. Anyone else?
Hello everyone, my name is Mohit, and I'm a student doing major in computer science and exploring Kubernetes. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Welcome. I think that's everyone. Alrighty, so we will move into the agenda. Our new items section today. We have one thing, just one small thing. We finally have the Kubernetes IO account on X or Twitter, whatever we're calling that. Yay, so excited. So we got that set up finally on Tuesday. So It is set up in Buffer, but only myself and Chris have access to it in Buffer right now. And Mario, I think I added you with approval needed access, but we can discuss that if you want to change it and stuff. So it is in Buffer, but if you have some reason to interact with it, make sure you talk about it with us. We're going to try to keep that more strictly guarded than we do most of our stuff because it's such a large account. It has a very large blast radius. If we do something wrong on it, it goes more
It's
haywire
going to be
than any
seen
of our
by the
other
entire
accounts.
community. Yes, that's crazy.
Yeah. So we want to keep that a little bit more locked down for everyone's comfort and and all. So so if you do have something that you want to do with that account, we don't want to keep the community from it. We absolutely want the community to use it, but we will try to be a little bit more careful about making sure that folks have the right access and you can't do anything wrong because we don't want anyone to experience that.
Case in point, somebody unknowingly asked us to retweet something, to which Kaslin and I were both like, do they realize the attention they'll get?
Yeah.
It's like one of, like I told Kaslin, we're basically making the policy as we go here, folks. So please interject if you see something you don't like. But yeah, like we should point people at web pages and mailing list threads, not individuals, because they don't want that kind of attention. Trust me. Yeah, that's
mean, if
definitely
somebody-
something I'm very, very serious about.
Also, as a project, we don't want to. We talk sometimes about our accounts being kingmakers.
Yes.
We get a lot of attention on our accounts. So if we were to tweet about individuals as a policy, that would, of course, get a lot of attention to them, and we would be an account that directs attention at individuals. And I think that's not something as a project that we want to be known for, because then we might get requests from people who want the attention, not the attention to be on the
Content
project,
of
but
the-
on themselves. Yeah. So we'll be careful about that account. I really want to get some documentation written up about how we're going to manage access to that account. I want some rules in place, like you need to be running some kind of social media campaign project in order to have this level of access. And if you are, then here are the things that you should do. And here's how different types of tweets work because there are limitations to different platforms. And here's how being an admin works and all of those kinds of things. So I hope to work on some of that in the next week or so. But this week has been just kind of making sure that the account is actually posting things. So we've posted 3 things so far, I think. We've done the intro post of we're in charge of this now. We did a retweet of the Kubernetes party stuff that the CNCF tweeted. And then yesterday we sent out a thread about the cloud provider removal, cloud provider code removal, which is a very exciting project that's been going on and has had some really exciting progress recently, removing over 1 million lines of code from Kubernetes, which is awesome.
that might be the most popular tweet I've seen in a long time talking about Kubernetes, to be honest with you.
Definitely.
So as we're working through this rule set, I want to be very transparent with the community, or not the community, but the leaderships of the individual, community components.
Chairs
So
and TLs.
let's work on it in the open and let, chairs and TLs comment on things. Let's let this group comment on things. And when I say comment on things, think of any scenario and how an account with 300,000 followers has impact, right? So if the possibility of impact is negative, we have to think through that, right?
Indeed.
Kind of thing. I will start a doc in the contributor comms folder. I think I still have access to that, wherever it may be.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I think. this is the right one.
We should have a link to that in our notes if that's a thing that we have. Oh, yeah, there is a link to that in the notes.
I know, right? Like here, let me. Oh, there is. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Where?
But a doc sounds good, and then we'll eventually PR that into GitHub.
Yeah. Where is the doc link at the top? I don't see it.
Oh, I
Oh,
forgot to ask for a note
no.
taker. Anybody want to be a note taker?
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong doc. That's part of the problem.
Need to document access and usage rules. Actually, Ben Elder tagged me into a issue from 2020 or 2019 that Paris created about creating guidelines around usage of the Kubernetes IO account. Back from when this team was
Wow.
first started. I think one of her hopes was that we would get access to that account, and now we do.
Never, ever did I think 4 years ago this would happen.
It's awesome. So we need to try to keep that rolling. Another thing on the Kubernetes IO account, we probably want to spin up some projects around that. So we do have the Fun Facts project, which Sandeep and was that Arpit we're working on?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Actually, when you asked for that thing that we need to be very specific about posting, so I am going to ask you that thing whether we can post Kate's fun fact over there or not.
I think so. As long as we make sure that we get a few reviews on the fun facts to make sure that they are in fact facts and are in fact fun, hopefully. I reviewed your current list a little bit last week. I was gonna make you all another doc or something. I totally got sidetracked with getting the Kubernetes IO stuff set up. But I know that you have at least a few that are all right to begin with, and then I was thinking I could add more, but I haven't done that yet. I know that you had the doc. I think that we linked that last time. Maybe it was a couple times ago. Is it that long?
Maybe.
Oh yeah. It was 2 meetings ago. How does that work? Putting that link here though. Did I say in that one about creating a new doc or something? All right, well, Chris, I'm sure that you have ideas about fun facts if you want to hop into that doc and make suggestions.
You know what? I should. Yeah. That would make me a little bit happier today. It's not been a good week for Chris.
That would be a great thing for you to do. So we'll definitely keep working on the Fun Facts project. Another project that I was discussing with Kat Cosgrove, who is a member of SIG Release and was the last release lead, she was saying that she would love to see some communications about our KEP processes because they are poorly understood and they are a very important part of how the project works. So that is something that she's interested in helping us with. KEP process
Completely agreed. We could make an effort to actually broadcast the SIG architecture spotlight that we did that covers that specifically as well. So obviously this doesn't replace any additional work, but I think it comes back to the discussion that we had between creating content and making it visible.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point. Makes sense in that series.
Two comments on that. I also would basically more or less post eventually all of the blog posts that did spotlights like over a period of time, because now we have like the possibility to do this and we need to fill the account with posts. And the second thing is that in the last weeks of Kubernetes development, we usually always feature a KEP, which means that we can basically reuse the text that we post inside of the the LWKD inside of a tweet. I mean, we
It would also
might
be
have to shorten it. Yeah.
It'd also be great in general for us to tweet about LWKD each week to be like, hey, this is out if you want to catch up on what's going on.
One of the questions I have is, what do we want to automate? Like the Kubernetes blog makes total sense. LWKD makes total sense. But probably not the Kates.dev blog.
Yeah, not the Kates.dev
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do this. I would
Okay.
basically
I just wanted to
keep
make sure that everybody other than Kazan and I agreed with that.
No, that's
Indeed.
basically now the thing that we need to decide. What is and we talked about it a little bit in the ContribEx meeting on Wednesday. We basically now need to decide who is the target group of what posts, and especially when it comes down to KubeCon. In the past, we basically tweeted all of the KubeCon posts at the contributor account. Some of them might be worth to put into the Kubernetes IO account.
Agreed.
Not all of them, but
Lightning
some.
talks, event-based things, absolutely, right? Like totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which also brings up another project that we need to make progress on, and I keep apologizing to Sundipun for us not making progress on, is the help wanted stuff. We did finally get that sheet last time before. So Sundipun was gonna create some posts on that. Bob said not to post about them, but I think that was our whole idea. It was posting that this is the help that is wanted.
Bob
When
said not
you
to post
asked-
help wanted things.
I think this depends on the post, because some of the help wanted things are only for people that are already inside of the community. So there's the differentiation that we might need to consider.
Basically,
but the target audience of Kate's contributors.
Yeah. Like we have two accounts, one's directed at current contributors, the other's directed at the world. So we will use them accordingly.
Yeah, it was when you asked for it in Summit staff, Chris. Bob commented on it. So I was going to say something to him about that and be like, on our contributor focused accounts, we should probably post about what help we want. That's the idea. He said no social media, which I think was a bit too broad.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I was not going to fight that battle in that moment.
Fair enough. All right. But yes, we do still want to do help wanted posts. And we definitely need to get going on that because it's so time sensitive. That has been an issue. One other project for this account is that I had been talking with Kat about was steering committee demystification, because nobody knows what the steering committee does. So doing some posts about what the steering committee actually does as we lead up to the elections in September might be a good idea.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I don't even know what the eligibility requirements are, to be honest with you. I just know you need to be in Kate for a while. It's kind of weird.
Like, can we do a spotlight with the steering committee?
I like the idea.
I like the idea too, yeah.
The issue will be that the issue that holds up most of our spotlights is when you create the document with the questions and you send it off to them and then they're in the middle of code freeze and then they never answer it. Imagine that, but for all of the steering committee members.
They're always in code freeze.
Yeah, they're another level of something. So noting that as a risk, that it may take a while and we may have to settle with responses from a few of the members and not all of them. But I do like the idea. If somebody wants to do that in particular,
Like,
we do have
can
quite a few
try it.
blogs. Yeah,
Like we can try it.
absolutely.
The worst case is that the person who is doing it won't get any responses, so that's completely fine.
Yeah, worth a shot for sure. Do you want to take that on, Arpit?
Yeah,
Do
I
you
can
want
give
to
it a try.
offer it up?
Right.
Sure, if you
Yeah,
want to
like
try it.
I am open to working in a team. If someone wants to collaborate with me on that, I have no problem with that. But if nobody shows up interest, I can give it a try by my own.
Yeah, and keep checking in on it. Let's add it to the board. Make sure that we're keeping on checking in on it. It might be a long-term one. Deering. Excellent. And there are 2 other blog posts that we've discussed spinning up this week. Arujval, glad to see you on. I had asked you in Slack if you're interested in doing a follow-up to your SIG cloud provider spotlight about the recent code removal. And you were interested in that, right?
Yes, I am interested. So I have to
Perfect.
interview Elmiko again, right?
Correct. So interview Elmiko, maybe Bridget, but Bridget seems overwhelmed.
He always seems overwhelmed though, so you got to kind of get it in her queue.
She was busy
Yeah.
last time too.
Mhm.
Yeah. You can check with her and see if she would like to be in it or if she would like for Elmiko to handle it. And then there was one other person actually who also offered to help with that blog post who had written some past blog posts about this change. They commented in our Slack channel and I added them when we did the post on the Twitter account. But I had never met them before, so I'll ping you who that is. Where did it go? Where'd it go?
Andrew? Me? I don't know.
That sounds, it started with an A. Yes, that's right.
Andrew.
Yeah. Sai Kim. Sorry, Andrew. But he had mentioned in our Slack channel that he's interested in helping out with that because he's done some blog posts about that before. So another helper for you who he probably has some context as well. So
Yeah, I will DM him about the blog
yeah,
post. Yeah, okay.
maybe like go ahead and create your question list if you feel ready to go ahead and put one together and then send that to him and ask if he wants to add anything or review it. Should be good. Interview
Is there
on-
any like context so I can like how to develop questions?
So this is going to be follow up to your SIG cloud provider post, and it's focused on the 1 million plus line removal of the cloud provider code. There's a whole bunch of past resources that we can also link to, but getting kind of the story from Elmiko of how did this change come about? Like what were the driving factors? What did it take to get it implemented? Because it's been in the works since 2017. So tell us about some of the challenges you faced along the way and what has just happened with the 1 million line removal. What does that mean for people? I think are the key points.
Yeah. Like, what does it mean if you were using that? What do you
Okay.
do?
Yeah, I will look into it.
It doesn't necessarily have to be technical, but it's got to cover the bases, right? Like, if you were using this in the past, here's what you do now. It could be one sentence. It doesn't have to get super deep.
Yeah, okay.
And what does this mean? I am the note taker today because I didn't ask. So I will pause momentarily sometimes to do notes. I do that anyway. Excellent. So I think that'll be awesome and hopefully super fun to write. So I hope you enjoy it.
Thanks.
And keep us up to date if you need any assistance. the next one I have on this list, we also had a request to create a new blog post about the 10-year anniversary, which is coming up June 6th. So we have kind of a tight timeline on that, actually.
Less than a month. Yeah. I've got to write my own posts about it, so don't ask me.
Exactly. I think I said last time that I was interested in working on it anyway. If you have to write one anyway, maybe you'd like to also work on that.
I mean, I
Maybe it should be an
can.
us
Like,
thing.
I can work on both at the same time. I'm just not the one to lead it, right?
For sure. Yeah, I should probably do that, huh? If I don't get that moving in the next week, I will ask someone else to handle it. If somebody else feels strongly about wanting to take that on so that you can learn about 10 years of Kubernetes and you want to own that and make sure that it gets completed and published before June 6th, I'm up for other folks to take that on. But if nobody else has very strong feelings about wanting to lead it, I will try for a week. And if I fail, then I'll ask again. Check back in.
I can help if needed, so give it a try, and
I'll definitely need your help.
Okay.
You are blogging champion, so it will be needed. All right. And then spotlight blog on steering. I like that idea. Our pit to lead. Cool. Any other new items this week? I mean, we usually don't have many. Like most of our session this time is new items. Lots of stuff going on this week. The new items that folks can think of that I've missed. I haven't also, by the way, syndicated our posts on Kubernetes IO to other channels yet. Chris, you had mentioned doing that, I think.
Yeah, and I did not do that yesterday.
And I also
sorry.
didn't do it. So maybe
Would
later.
you like me to do it today? Yeah.
If you can, yeah, I would appreciate that. But if you
I can.
are going to be busy and stuff, I can also do it. As long as I remember.
I need a good distraction every once in a while. So yes, thank you.
That'll be perfect. Should be easy for LinkedIn because it has a very long limit, but Mastodon will be more challenging.
Yeah, that's fine. I can make it happen. Ooh. Do I have the login for the Mastodon account? Yes, I created it. Never mind. Duh.
And we have a request in chat. Sandeep needs to drop, but Federico, if he has any blogging tasks that he needs to do, I don't know if he's on any.
I'll send a note afterwards. No problem there, Sandeep.
I'll ping you later, Sandeep, because of the fun facts.
Yeah.
And then you don't have access to the board. Yeah, you're probably not an org member yet. We can fix that.
Who isn't? Sandeep is? Yeah, we need.
It might not be. Yeah, he's new.
Yeah.
So
Totally. We can.
I think
figure
you
that
don't
out.
have access to the board because you don't have org membership yet. So we'll fix that. It'll take a little bit.
It'll take a bit, but yeah, we'll get you org membership. Totally.
Thank you.
Well, if even perhaps we can make both things work at the same time, because adding a contribution of Sandeep to one of the blogs counts towards the contribution, etc. So maybe, yeah.
Exactly. And he said that he's interested in helping with the 10th anniversary blog. So I could involve him in that, at least as a reviewer, get his name on it.
Yep.
He already
And then the
has
fun
one
facts as well.
authorship of in the shadowing guide,
Okay.
because I merged some suggestions. So he is listed as an author. So yeah, that's one.
Wonderful. Shouldn't take long to get your org membership.
It's gonna go quick then. Relatively quick.
Another org membership thing, I'll just put that as an item. I guess that's an update, really. I will throw that into updates real quick. So we've got to get org membership for Sandeep. We also need to get org membership for Arvind. Arvind, what projects are you working on so far? Anything in particular yet?
Yeah, so I was working on the Spotlight blog for the SIG scheduling right now.
Okay,
Uh,
perfect.
yeah. Then I just had a chat with Frederico today to do the pre-PR work for another Spotlight blog. So there's that, and I'm doing other contributions on the Kubernetes website.
Website contributions. Yeah, I think you already have enough, honestly, to go for us to do the org membership. We could wait until the SIG scheduling spotlight comes out, just for good measure.
Yeah, I mean, the more the merrier, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I
And
just looked at kubernetes.io and the Twitter account is not on that page. It's not in the footer. It's weird.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'll take an
Noted.
action to PR that in, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, do we want to? Some members of the community have strong feelings about us using
Twitter?
X at all.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. But
Yeah.
there's nothing, well, I mean, don't people have issues with GitHub? We link to that.
I mean, to be honest, it's a communication channel and we should link to it. So my personal opinion is it's a communication channel that we use where information is spread, and not everyone, or most of the people that are using the Kubernetes IO website are not community members.
Right.
Fair point. It is also an end user focused channel,
Website.
so that does
Yeah.
make sense.
I mean, that we don't link it on kubernetes.dev. Okay.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I like it. End user comms channels, because we don't have many channels for communicating with end users. So the more
No.
we can get their eyes on those, the better it is for the project, because we have lots of things that we need to communicate with end users. I know a lot of contributors within the community want more interaction with end users, so I think it'll be a net positive for everyone, even if it's not ideal in some ways. Wonderful. All right. So I think that's it for the folks that I know of right now who are on the precipice of org membership. If you've been around for a bit and you know that you don't have org membership, you don't have access to edit the board, I think that's just org membership. If you feel like you want org membership and you've been around for a while, let us know.
Yes.
If you are new,
we will happily
go ahead.
guide you and sponsor you.
Yeah. If you are new, org membership is basically an indication that you are active and contributing on kind of a long-term basis within the project. So hang out for a little while, do a couple of things, and then we will be happy to sponsor you for org membership. That's how that works. All right. And then the one item that someone other than me added into the notes.
Oh God, sorry.
Sorry, Arvind. Would you like to, I guess you already gave your update, but would you like to give any more updates about the blog?
Yeah, so that was the kind of the main update, but yeah, I had shared the initial set of questions about the blog and some additional questions as well to the interviewee last week, and they said they'll take a look at it last weekend, which they did. So they had started filling up the questions, and it's just now 3 to 4 questions short of completion. So I guess that would be finished by the next week or the week after that. So I'm also thinking of making it a more like interaction based instead of just question answer. So a kind of a conversation flow or something. So I guess I could also start working on that now that some of the questions have been filled.
Welcome to explore with formats of information. But it's exciting to hear that you've got questions going and you're interacting with them and getting those filled out. It's one of the hardest steps is just getting that going.
Yeah,
So you're off to a good start.
I
Excellent.
believe so. Thank you.
Yeah. When I first did a SIG Spotlight, I was like, I'm going to do this interview and then I'm going to turn it into kind of a narrative format of like, I'm just telling the story, not really in an interview format. And then I started writing the blog post and I was like, you know what? The interview format works really well. And then I ended up just doing it in interview format anyway. So welcome to explore. Sometimes you find the
Yeah.
best way along the way.
We do know that we should not interview people on video and then write blog posts from it. That's incredibly
I think
painful.
there are probably some people that it would work better for, but
Some, but
it hasn't
in
for us.
general, it's hard. But I do feel like the transcripting tools have improved a little bit. So
They really have. So it could be a much more viable path than it has been for us in the past. We had a whole conversation about that, and we ended up deciding that docs were still definitely the way to go. I remember.
no, because I
if
did
somebody really
I did an interview once and I handed it off to Ahmed and he was just like, dude, don't do this again.
Yeah, yeah. It was very painful for our group for like months.
I'm so sorry.
It was an important thing that we now talk about all the time because it was a great learning. So
Yeah.
it was a wonderful thing that we did in the end.
Mhm.
Failures are also wonderful things when they help us learn. Moving on to the next item, which has been added by someone other than me, the critical comms doc.
We are
Yeah.
way behind on that.
I mean, years
we are
behind, but-
clearly, when I say we, I mean Caslin and I, we are clearly busy people. Not that none of you are busy. I'm sure we're all busy, to be honest with you, but we kind of need somebody to pick up the spear and run with this. It could turn into a freaking work group potentially.
Chris, I don't know that we should do that.
Oh, really?
Because
Well,
it's critical comms. That doc needs more experience than most. So it's probably important that we actually make time to do it.
Fine.
I do appreciate your initiative in noticing that it probably needs some help in trying to get that. But I do think
Well,
that maybe
yeah, I
it's one of
didn't
those cases
bounce
where
that
we should
idea
try
off
and do
you
it
either,
anyway.
so
Frederico might
I
actually be
didn't
able
ask
to
you
do it
first,
though.
so
I saw
sorry.
him moving his mic.
No, just making sure that it was off.
Okay.
But
You
yeah,
want to take this
I
on, Federico?
But wrong move.
Like,
It
can
need
anyone give me
experience,
the
so.
background? I don't know anything about critical comms doc.
No, but
So
It's fair.
we'll
I
give the
recently
background in a second. Go ahead, Frederico.
Yeah, no, I recently wrote the blogging guides. I had previously done the shadowing and the shadowing one, so I'm not at all opposed of adding a couple of thoughts around how to do it. But I mean, it's a group effort, I suppose, because I'm also
Yes.
not an absolute expert on the on
No, no
critical
one
comms.
is.
But yeah, but it gives me a good excuse to learn about it, if nothing else. So yeah.
If anyone in the group could do it, I think that you could.
Yeah, and
Mario
like,
probably
I'm
too, because
here
you've been
too,
around.
right? Like I don't have time to coordinate a bunch of stuff. That's the problem, right? Like I need these groups' feedback and all this other stuff. Trying to figure out how to get all that into a doc, like my mind just melts.
If you can get a sort of a consensus on 3 or 4 main ideas that we want to have it there, I can pick it up and work with Marcus and you and everyone else to get something out.
You did
Okay.
have a draft doc already, right, Chris? With
I had
at
a
least
doc
some rough outline.
going something. Yeah, let me find it.
I actually like this. So it was good that you suggested that we find someone else to help with it, because that is actually probably going to work out better.
Mhm.
Good call.
And
good
literally,
call.
when I say help, it's just ushering it through necessarily, right? Like not necessarily. Yeah, it's
Which is why you are a total boss.
no. Well, and yeah,
Um,
let me link it in here. For everyone else's, it's there, and I will put it in the notes.
Perfect. And I'll do the context overview here, at least start it. So as the comms group, we do get a variety of requests for comms, and sometimes these comms are very urgent and very important or critical. So comms that fit in that category could count as things like CVEs, security issues with the project. We've never actually had to do with any of those, honestly, but it could happen.
Having
Removals,
guidelines around it would help people a lot, though, right? Like,
for sure.
yeah.
One thing that we have had to help out with is big deprecations, like the Docker shim removal. That was a whole
Thing.
shenanigans because folks were talking about it on social media, some of the folks in our community with really big followings, and they were trying to call attention to it because it's a really big change that if you're affected by it is a huge effect. It'll basically like
bring your
shut you down.
infrastructure to a halt. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a huge change for those who are affected by it, but not everyone was affected by it. And because of the terminology involved, a lot of people felt like they were going to be impacted when they actually weren't. And there was a lot of misunderstanding about what the change was. So that was a whole thing. So we
Further
had to help
proving
kind
the
of
need for our group's existence.
yeah, we had to help control the fire because the fire was already going because of another reason to be careful about individual communications versus the group communications.
Bingo.
Not as many reviews on the individual communication, so you can tweet something that starts a firestorm accidentally. So lots of folks were involved in controlling that fire. So that was critical comms of trying to control that. And then there were some other deprecations as well, I think. And then the repos, the Linux repos when we removed the registry images. That was also important, impacts a lot of people. But it's hard to understand exactly how.
That was a great example of teamwork, both within Kubernetes and with the individual like cloud provider liaisons, right? Like that one, you could literally write a case study on it. It went very well. I don't think I've heard anybody being impacted by it.
Yeah. And
I mean, I'm sure somebody has had to do something because of it, but like no outages, which is good.
Yeah. And something that Mario will be very familiar with when every year the project gets close to running out of money. If we ever actually have to do something that would impact people on a short time frame, that would be critical comms. So here are some examples of critical comms. And as the comms team, we tend to be expected to help out with these communications and help make sure that they minimize harm. Maximize the help that we can do for people in these delicate situations.
Yes. This is why
so we need some guidelines on thinking about like, here are the things you need to consider if you have a very important thing to communicate about. How is it going to impact people? Who is impacted? All of those kinds of things. So check out Chris's doc for some more insight onto what we were thinking there.
I didn't put much down, but it should give you a general idea.
So like
I should link to the other times we've done that, but yeah.
And we had a lot of agenda items today, so we are already less than 10 minutes from the end of our normally scheduled meeting. So let's dive into the board real quick and see if we can go over the most critical things. So the first thing in our ready for review column is the spotlight on SIG Node, which is RPIT. RPIT and Federico, what updates do you have for us there?
Which one? Sorry?
SIG Node.
SIG Node. Right. SIG Node. The PR is open. It has a already feedback from SIG docs there. And I'm also, one of the things that I'm going to do is to ask someone else in the shadow of the shadows to add their own reviews there before moving on. So that's the status.
Anything to add, Arpit?
Nope.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the work that you've done on this so far. And we look forward to it going through the review cycle. Looks like you've got a number of comments there, which should be helpful in getting it ready to go out.
Yeah, they will likely, those are all to be merged. I just didn't touch it because I want to, I prefer to waste a couple of days and bring someone else for the shadowing part. And that's what I'm going to do afterwards, assigning someone there.
Absolutely in favor of that. Thank you, Federico, for thinking of your shadows and the future and trying to get folks up to speed on this. That's awesome for the group. The next item is your shadowing guide for blogging. What updates do you have on that? Ready
Well,
for
the one
review?
there is already a merge request to the main repo. So I mean, here, what I would ask is everyone to take a look and I mean, suggest things before it gets merged into our main resources.
Yeah, makes sense.
Excellent. Especially if you're
there's-
interested in blogging, please do review that.
But in the end, for it to be merged, there are approvals that need to be done. I think that both you and Mario are listed as in the owners file. So yeah, that's the thing.
I should write that down. Blog guide review. Well, shadow.
And feel free to, obviously, as always, to post change, etc. That is not something that is the be all end all of shadowing guides. It's more of a starting point than anything else. So but I still think that it's better to have something and then incrementally adjust it than to wait for perfection.
Yes, 100%.
Certainly. All right, let's move into the in progress column. Updates on your SIG architecture series and your various series.
Yeah, so I've opened a specific issue for the it's at the end for the SIG architect. I'll move it up. Let me see if this works. Yeah. The enhancements one, I've just so I was trying to get the attention of the owner of this back. I got it, and the information is that they are working on the answers. So this
Wonderful.
is the one missing, and we have activity on it again. Still no answers finished, but at least something is moving.
Yeah, that is the hardest part of these.
Indeed.
Excellent. And then, so that was architecture, right? And then you've got API machinery and etcd as well.
Yeah, so API machinery, we got the answers done. There were in the last week, there were a couple of final questions missing, but that was done, so it's finished. It's not ready for review simply because I was looking to have someone else also helping with the PR work, and as Arvind mentioned, he is the one doing this. So Arvind is currently tasked with picking up the Google Doc and converting it into Markdown in HackMD, which I think it's useful as a learning experience because it exposes people to the Markdown, to the process, etc., and makes it easier for further down the road to submit a completely new one. So yeah.
Love to see it. Excited for that to happen. And then SIG etcd.
SIG etcd, I have the initial set of questions done. I've just confirmed with the SIG etcd share that there's interest in addressing this, and I'm I'm going to assign someone to review the questions before I send them to the SIG for answering. Likely, I mean, it could be one of the shadows that replied to the thread that I did yesterday. I did a thread yesterday with a couple of suggestions. It could be Sandeep, for example, or Satyam, or now, well, I have around 5 people: Arvind, Satyam, Sandeep, Arujal, and Arpit. But I don't have at the moment things for everyone. But I'll take a look and try to see who fits better in each one. Likely this one is something that I will likely ping Sandeep, for example, for him to get his feedback. And that's it for me.
I was worried about my connection there for a second.
Yeah. I think that Kaslin is not. Oh,
It was me.
Okay. I was like,
Sorry about
something
that.
definitely changed.
I fell off the internet.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Did you take host? Did I make you host? How did that happen?
I don't know.
It just made you host, huh?
It did.
Smart.
Weird.
Good.
Yeah. Good for
Maybe because
it.
you were the first one on the call, but good.
I think so.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I dropped out during the etcd stuff, but it sounds like it's rolling along. Anything else about etcd? We have 1 minute left.
No, it is this. So we're just doing some pre-work before sending the questions to etcd.
Perfect.
etcd, yeah.
So let's run through the rest of these quickly. SIG Security, Sriram was so excited to do that and was attending the SIG Security meetings and everything, and I haven't seen him in a bit. Should probably ping him.
Yeah.
I
don't like when people ghost us, but I don't know how to even like adjust for that.
It's what happens. We have plenty of SIG spotlights and they tend not to be urgent. So especially with SIG spotlights, it's not a huge issue when that happens. But we should check in on him, see if he still wants to do that, if we should offer it up for folks. We have plenty of other blog posts for people to do. If you want to write a blog post, we have got.
I can send him a.
The last time I
checked
in a while ago, he still said he wanted to do it, but was busy handling other stuff. So I would ask, like, are you still busy?
Yeah.
And just be real fair. Like, we're at this point where we need to kind of consider you're busy and we can let others, right?
Yeah. Sorry, Federico. Yeah. What were you saying?
No, I was saying that maybe we should just repeat what Chris did, which was send him a note, a DM asking. So yeah, if Chris already did that, maybe a follow-up.
I did it months ago.
Yeah,
I can
do it as well.
Okay.
What?
Go ahead. I think coming from you would make more sense.
Okay, so I'll send him one.
Much appreciated. And we are a minute over. I want to go over a couple things very quickly. Help wanted posts I mentioned earlier. I think I'll try to ping Sandipan and see if he wants to just sit on a meeting together to work it out so that we get that done this week. And not this week, because I'm going to be running an event all week. Great.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Which one?
You know, the one.
Oh, that one. Yes, that I can't go to now. Oh, God, I'm sorry. Oh,
no worries.
It's been a week.
I'm jealous.
What do you mean you're jealous?
Anyway.
It'll
be great. It'll be fun.
I don't think you want it. I don't think that means what you think it means.
No, it doesn't. Anyway. Moving on.
Okay.
Establishing a process to prevent duplication in LWKD articles. I don't think there are any updates on that. I think we might want to move that to like back to do.
Yeah.
Mario,
fair.
any updates on that? Establishing a
No.
process to prevent duplication. Should we move it back to do for now?
Yes,
Or
please.
okay, yes, I'm gonna do that. Zapier stuff, that's still in progress. Zapier stuff, that's still in progress. Sensitive communications process, making some progress on that. That's also that one again. The SIG scheduling spotlight, we did updates on that. And SIG node is in ready for review. So this issue should be over here. All right. And I think that is it for our board. Thank you for staying a couple minutes over. Any last items before I end the recording? All right. Thank you everyone for joining today, and we will see you next time. We're going to say goodbye to our friends on YouTube. Goodbye, YouTube.